Aloha, welcome to TMDR, the Maui Daily Report for Friday, April 10th, 2026. I'm Patty Lee, and these are some of the stories that you may find interesting today. The giant storm we've been expecting is still out there, but there are signs that it may not be as bad as we think tomorrow, but don't let your guard down. Rain is all around us, and chances of showers will increase on Sunday into next week. Hana and Molokai schools were closed today. Maui County has closed the shelters in Pukalani, Lahaina, and Wailuku. The shelters in South Maui, Hana and Molokai remain open if needed. Downed trees and power lines were reported in East Maui, while Kihei residents brace themselves for this latest round. A Maui girl, Faith Kaloha Pa Pedes, brought home the Miss Aloha Hula 2026 title from the Merry Monarch Festival on the Big Island last night, earning top honors in hula's premier solo competition. Her performances also earned the Hawaiian Language Award. The Hawaii Attorney General issued her bi-weekly update on the criminal investigation of the influential state legislator who allegedly took a $35,000 bribe. All she said was the prosecution has reviewed thousands of documents and interviewed 18 individuals, but she still will not tell us who the crook is. James Edwin Moser, 36, is charged with second-degree murder in the March 29th stabbing death of his father, James Paul Moser, 64, at their Kihei home. Police report that Moser allegedly stabbed his father multiple times, with the victim's wife calling 911, and officers used less than lethal force to take him into custody. No motive has been disclosed. Moser is being held without bail. Hawaiian Electric has officially triggered payments under the Maui Wildfire settlement after final legal conditions were cleared today. The company authorized its first estimated $479 million payment for wildfire-related claims. The full $1.9 billion settlement will be paid over 4 years. With releases now in effect and appeals dismissed, the move reduces legal uncertainty while beginning long-awaited compensation for Maui victims. Budget talks grew increasingly tense this week, with council members frustrated over late documents, rising costs, and ongoing storm disruptions. Wednesday's clash over security screening machines and expanding IT, housing, and contract costs carried into Thursday, where officials were pressed on salary hikes, vague job creation plans, and how millions in funding will actually benefit residents. Your concerns and ideas can be expressed at the evening community district budget meetings next week, all starting at 6 p.m. Molokai's budget meeting will take place Monday at the Mitchell Paole Center, and a South Maui meeting will take place on Tuesday at Kihei Community Center. The Lāna'i meeting will be on Wednesday and West Maui on Friday. U.S. Representative Jill Tokuda held a town hall meeting this past Wednesday evening at the Lahaina Civic Center. It was a rainy night with threats of more storms, but the town hall went on anyway. Tokuda addressed a number of topics, including money from the feds to continue to cover the cost of fire and storm damage. Also, Tokuda was asked about the future of small businesses in Lahaina. Here's a clip.
I borrowed money from the SBA in 2020 for the fire, and I live in a town now where I can't afford to pay that every single month with no economy, and I'm barely getting by. It just feels like no matter what business I get into, whether it's retail, wedding planning, it is a crapshoot working here in Lahaina, and so what I've been doing is leaving the state to go work. Again, it's costing me everything to stay here, so my question is what are we doing for small businesses that also went through the 2020 fire, that are still here with skin in the game, trying to make it work in Lahaina? What resources are there for us right now?
If I look back at the fires. We did focus a lot, as we had to, on lives. People sheltered, had food in their system, they had medical, healthcare, access, all these different things. But to me, we took too long to actually look at the economic lifeblood that would keep the community going in terms of how we support small businesses. We took way too long. In fact, we really haven't put together a solid plan for how we bring small businesses back, how we make it viable when rent is so high for the few stalls and spaces that you might have still here in Lahaina.
Lawmakers revived a last-minute bill to help fund cesspool conversions through low-interest loans, targeting more than 80,000 systems statewide by the 2050 deadline, including a rough estimated 14,000 across Maui County. The estimated 88,000 cesspools across Hawaii are still leaking untreated sewage, and high conversion costs are inhibiting compliance. On Maui, the issue carries added urgency due to environmental risks to groundwater and reefs. There is also pressure coming from the feds and EPA enforcement action requiring closures and penalties following the landmark case that put Maui at the center of a national fight over wastewater pollution reaching the ocean. State lawmakers on Wednesday advanced funding for the Maui Metropolitan Planning Organization and a boost to the state's disaster fund. In addition, bills move forward requiring state and county law enforcement to notify individuals of their rights before interacting with federal immigration authorities like ICE. MEDB is expanding business and workforce programs, including AI workshops, small business support, and education initiatives. Internship deadlines are April 17th through May 8th, with hands-on student training across Maui County. Healthcare career exploration takes place on April 25th. Other major events include the Hawaii STEM Conference on April 15th and 16th, and the Hawaii Energy Conference set for May 20th through the 21st. Testimony at the state on Wednesday, April 8th, highlighted how outer islands like Molokai struggle to access state and county funding for infrastructure and clean energy projects. Speakers pointed to Maui County as a working example of integrating energy and water systems at the local level. Advocates are pushing the state to use Molokai as a pilot, aiming to expand resource equity across Maui County and beyond. Molokai sure gets in their fair share of sports victories, and here with all the details is the Molokai Sports Report.
Aloha, sports fans, wherever you may be. My name is Rick Shanley. We are at the studios of Akakū in downtown Kanakakai, Molokai, and this is the Molokai Sports Report. Last weekend, Molokai boys volleyball took on Lāna'i, and we honored our seniors on Friday night. The boys volleyball team is 4-0. They got 2 victories last weekend. They swept on Friday 3-0. They swept on Saturday 3-0 over Lāna'i. They're scheduled to travel to Seabury this weekend, weather permitting, of course. Good luck, Molokai boys volleyball. Boys baseball was at Duke Maliu Regional Park last weekend. Final scores on Friday, Molokai beat Lāna'i 14-4. On Saturday, they played a doubleheader. Molokai wins the first game 17-4, and Lāna'i comes back and wins the last game 9-5. So the boys are 4-2. We honored our seniors after the game. They are scheduled to travel to Seabury this weekend to play 3 games against Seabury Hall. Great job, Molokai boys baseball. Up at the high school field, the Lady Farmers hosted Hana last weekend. They picked up 2 victories. On Friday, they won 15-0. On Saturday, they won 9-5, and they honored their seniors after the game. The Lady Farmers are now 5-1. They are scheduled to be at Lāna'i April 17th and 18th. That will end the regular season. Great job, Molokai girls softball. Flag football was on the road, and they picked up 2 victories, their first games of the year. They played against Hana at Kamehameha Maui High School. They won on Friday 49-6. 6, and Saturday 41-0. They are scheduled to host Lāna'i this weekend at the high school field. Great job, Molokai girls flag football. News from the barn this weekend. We hope that the storm doesn't affect any of the games, but we will pray that everything will be safe. My name is Rick Shanley. We're at the studios of Akakū in downtown Kaunakakai, Molokai, and you are watching the Molokai Sports Report. We thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Aloha no. Kako.
The Kupulau Festival returns to Lāna'i on April 25th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Lāna'i Culture and Heritage Center, celebrating the island's natural and cultural heritage. The free family-friendly event features hands-on cultural activities, educational booths, and opportunities to learn about native plants, conservation, and traditional Hawaiian practices. Attendees can also connect with local organizations and take home native and Polynesian-introduced plants to support stewardship efforts across the islands. A federal lawsuit is challenging the Native Hawaiian Health Scholarship Program, a decades-old initiative that was designed to put Native Hawaiian doctors and nurses working in some of Hawaii's most underserved communities. The conservative advocacy group Do No Harm claims the program is unconstitutional, arguing it discriminates based on race and excludes non-Native applicants. The day after the lawsuit was filed, Papa'ola Lokahi, the nonprofit that runs the scholarship program, issued a statement on its website saying that it stands tall in the face of a challenge. Here's a look at what they do.
In Hawaii, ohana means everything, and it's the spirit of aloha that connects us through every sunset and every wave that lives in our memories. But for some kupuna, memories of these precious moments can start to fade. Dementia is a growing challenge affecting our elders, and it's a heartbreaking reality that many ohana are having to face. Papa'ola Lokahi, the Native Hawaiian healthcare systems, and our community partners have been addressing Hawaiian health and well-being for more than 35 years. With a renewed focus on kupuna brain health, we developed the Native Hawaiian Roadmap to navigate the impacts of nā ma'i poina, the forgetting sickness. We are weaving together understandings of dementia with cultural approaches that build trust and incorporate wise public health practices. To learn about our roadmap or a Native Hawaiian healthcare system near you, visit us at papa'olalokahi.org. E ho'olokahi kākou. Let's work together to mālama our kupuna.
Akakū will host a hands-on social media workshop on April 25th in Kahului, teaching participants how to create Instagram reels and stories. The session runs from 10 a.m. to noon with registration required and open to both members and non-members. Attendees will learn practical tips and create content on their own phones alongside Maui-based social media creator Melia DiLiberto. Hospice Maui is joining a national call to action on April 16th to discuss and document future healthcare decisions, urging residents to complete advance directives, noting most Americans have not documented their healthcare wishes despite understanding their importance. The organization encourages conversations, choosing a trusted decision maker and clearly outlining care preferences before a medical crisis. A free community workshop hosted by Ohana Care Maui on senior planning and caregiving will be held April 28th at Kalama Heights in Kihei. Do you have ideas or information to share? Akakū is opening its full television studio to Maui residents, offering a 4-class certification course to help community members produce their own shows. Participants will get hands-on training in directing, lighting, cameras, audio, graphics, and teleprompter operation, led by experienced studio technician Adam Lightplay. The courses, later this month, run $160 to $200, beginning at 5 p.m. Once certified, members are then able to reserve the studio for free to boost local storytelling, creativity, and community connection. Register by calling 808-871-5554 or create an account at akakū.org. Now, as always on Aloha Friday, we leave you with some glorious photos of Maui Nui. And that's it for today's Maui Daily Report. Mahalo for joining us. This is how we stay connected. I'm Patty Lee. Have a great